the situation these days is getting closer to an equality between the Palestinians and the Jews. In Israel-Palestine, we're talking about 1.5 million, almost 1.5 million Palestinian citizens of Israel, 5.5 Jews, where around 3 million Palestinians live in the occupied territories in the West Bank and Gaza. Now, what happened in 48? Many things happened in 48, but among the dramatic changes that happened in Palestine in 48, except the disappearance of the British mandate from our horizon, was the fact that between 600 and 800,000 Palestinians became refugees outside their original homes, outside the state of Israel. More than 500 Palestinian villages were destroyed during the Nakba, during the 40s. This is all well known for you, but this is where our story begins. Now, what was happening is a massive appropriation of villages and townships that used to be traditional dwelling places of the Bedouin, sometimes for hundreds of years. In some cases, like you see here in the northern beach in Israel, they became part of a very nice nature reserve, where people could come and enjoy the beach while overlooking the place was the old relics of the Arab. In the Negev itself, in the Nakab, the southern deserts of Israel, which comprises 60% of the state of Israel today, without the occupied territories, there was a very massive transfer of population. After 48, only around 11,000 Arabs from the Negev, from the Nakab, remained there in place, but they did not remain in their original territories within the Nakab. They were transferred to a relatively small area within the Negev, within the Nakab of 10%, around 1.3 million dunams. I should divide it, I think, by 4 or by 10? By 4, I think, in order to get the area in acres. The total area of the Nakab is 3 million acres. So you can see that actually it's around 10%. The area where the Arabs of the Negev were allowed to live was reduced to 10% of the Negev, the less fertile area of the Negev. Now, the next change in legislation after the 48 war, the 48 war did not really change the legal situation in Palestine in terms of legal constructions. The trivial reason for that is that until 65, Israel had no law of planning construction. The laws were the laws of the British mandate, which were kind of irrelevant because 500 villages and towns disappeared. Now, in 65, the state of Israel started to put some order in this mess, and it passed the Planning and Construction Act that recognized only around 170 of the remaining 250, around 250 villages that remained in the 48 war. So 500 villages were destroyed, 250 remained, but of them only around 170 villages were recognized within the state of Israel. The 80 villages that remained are the unrecognized villages. So this is how it looks today. This is the situation in Negev. Basically, all those red points here are non-recognized villages. This is an official map of the state of Israel in the south, around Beersheba. See that there are very few localities here according to this map, and most of them are Jewish. Only a few of them are Arab localities. And you should remember that more than half of the population of the Negev of this area is Arab. So where do all those people live? Okay, they live here. This is what you see in an aerial photo of the same area. Most of those places here are Arab localities. They are not recognized on the map, on the official maps of the state of Israel, which means that according to the law, according to the authorities, they do not exist. Some more figures. In the unrecognized villages, only in the Negev, these days there are around 4 45,000 constructions, huts, houses, shacks, even tents in some areas that are not recognized, but people live there constantly. And within those unrecognized villages, and each year there are 1,500 more. So you see why the Israeli authorities are very anxious to start demolishing. We don't recognize them, and still they multiply. Among all Arab localities within Israel, within the state of Israel, 25% of the recognized municipality do not have any plan. Which means that all houses there are illegal, even though, in principle, even though the locality is recognized. You can see what it means, that even within the recognized localities, things are not going on so well. Most of the rest have inadequate planning plans, and there are many illegal housing within those recognized townships and villages. Since 48, 7 times more Arab citizens are in Israel, so the population of Arab citizens within Israel multiplied 7 times since 48. Still, there is no change in the legal area of the Arab municipality. Constantly 2.5%. No change, no new area for those many more people. And since then, there were 1,000 new Jewish settlements or localities that were founded, where only 7 new Arab townships were formed, only in the Negev, and only in order to move those people from the unrecognized villages in the Negev to these new townships. And I'm sure that our guests could explain you a little bit about the situation in those townships and why very few Arabs of the Negev, of the Nakab, would like to move very poor townships in the Negev. These are plans, official plans from the State of Israel, how to move localities in the Negev to a new area that would be designated to them in Khura, in the south. These are all those arrows represent moving people with their villages to another place. So basically there are many plans that Israel has in order how to solve the problem of the Bedouins in the Negev who are living on 10% of the area that they used to use before the State of Israel started. Still, they are not compact enough according to the planners of the State of Israel. Why? Why all this hassle? Now, it's very hard to explain the way the official planners in the Israeli authorities think. I would not try to do it in such an evening, but I can give you just a very short quote by a person that you all know, Mr. Ariel Sharon, who used to be the Minister of Housing Construction in the beginning of the 90s. He was not at the peak of his political career, unfortunately, then. He had still some mileage to do. But when he was the Minister of Housing Construction, he initiated what became to be known as the Star Plan. And one of the motivations of the Star Plan in Israel was to create a barrier inside the Arab population in order to prevent the actual danger of unity between existing small Arab localities, which may turn, as time goes by, into big, strong Arab cities. So the planners of the State of Israel considered the development of Arab cities to be a danger for the State of Israel. But those Arab cities were supposed to be cities of the citizens of Israel. This is a quote from the official Star Settlement Plan. We will see immediately an implementation, an ongoing implementation of this plan from '91. The planners have Sharon in their mind when they continue to work.